There we go. Viacom International. And the only video game they self-published. Oh. Right. And this one is way quieter. So let's bring this to about... This is my speaking voice. This is my speaking voice. This is my speaking voice. Okay. So anyway, since we have a little more time to talk about it, I was saying Retro Game Challenge was the game I was leaning towards for next week. The other two options, in contrast, would be games that would effectively play blind. So one of those is Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, a game that is effectively baby's first JRPG. I've never actually sat down and played it. I hear tell it's real easy though. And I've always sort of been curious about it. The other game that I was looking at, and this is one I've played maybe the first 20 minutes or so, just to try it out, and I've never came back to it, but it might be a fun one, is called Sigma Star Saga. So that was for the Game Boy Advance, and is a combination role-playing game and horizontal scrolling shooter. And so that one could be a little fun as well. I would say less like Turrican and more like, it's hard to explain. It's an odd combination of things. When I say shooter, I mean more like Gradius or like Nemesis or... like, not quite bullet hell. They can't do bullet hell on the Game Boy Advance. But like, shooter in that style. Like I said, right now though, the main advantage that that Retro Game Challenge has is specifically that... God, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's because it's the one I already know. I'm familiar with it, so there won't be any little surprises partway through. Yeah. Also, I don't really have that one in physical form the way I do with Retro Game Challenge. Because I actually didn't have a Game Boy Advance until well after they were kind of dead technology, basically. I started playing GBA games on my DS Lite. Good old Zero Wing. I actually played through Zero Wing I don't remember when. It was around the time that I picked up NSO, because they have it on there. And, the thing about Zero Wing is it's a pretty cool game, but that final boss is freaking impossible. Holy crap. And yes, the intro was that bad. The only thing is, I know the version that people are familiar with is the one that has the voiceover. And this was a Sega Genesis game, so there was no voiceover at the time. It was just text. And I believe it was only released, well, it was released in Japan, but also in parts of Europe, and I think the basic idea was that they sort of put it out in regions where they didn't have to worry about the translation being up to standard. I could be wrong about that, though. I could have just imagined that being the case. And so this is Zoop, which I've just been playing here with. This came out around the time that Viacom was sort of riding high. They probably still are, I don't know. Because Viacom also owned Blockbuster Video at the time, I think they kind of figured that they could just parlay that ownership into this game becoming a hit. Yeah, with the Opti Challenge backgrounds. Patent pending. To this day, in fact. Because it certainly isn't like crappy interface design, it's that they actually went to the trouble to make the game look bad on purpose to distract you. And when I was young, I bought into that hook, line, and sinker. I thought for sure that they had come up with some crazy system to mess with your head, as opposed to just butt ugly. In 2019, okay. Shows how much I pay attention to media giants. But yeah, basically thanks to Blockbuster and Viacom Viacom owning Blockbuster as a kind of same parent company, Blockbuster had a bunch of wacky promotions for this game to try and make it a hit. It didn't take. This game never became super popular, but it was one of those games that I just happened to have as a kid. And so I played a ton of it. I quite enjoyed it. I believe the copy I got was like super reduced price on like an end cap at Walmart or something. Because I didn't typically buy games back then, I was a renter. I hate that I had to do that, but it had to be done. And so while I don't know for sure if the whole Opti Challenge backgrounds is a real thing or not, this stage has always looked kind of askew to me. Like this just... For some reason those vertical stripes just look like they're very slightly diagonal. I've always felt, oh, as soon as the shape hits the middle, that's that. Well, I had rented it once before, and then I saw it at Blockbuster for $12 and said, yeah, I'm grabbing that. And so this was one of many cheesy puzzle games that I've sort of become obsessed with over the years. I don't know why the music is still slow. That's not supposed to do that. Yeah, and this was back when Viacom basically owned at least one business in like every step of like the movie chain. So they had, you know, like studios and like distributors and theaters and like you know, manufacturers for like home video, and then Blockbuster. And so they were able to sort of parlay that kind of thing into sort of a larger business strategy. And I think the goal was to do the same thing with video games. And it just didn't work out because the games never caught on. No matter how many times Viacom used their connection to Blockbuster to create Zoop-related special promotions and whatnot. So every now and then, like if you had a, you know, like maybe a movie that didn't do too well in the box offices, they would promote the crap out of it at Blockbuster to try and sort of recoup their losses, which is why every now and then the most random movies would just be promoted to hell and back on... Why the hell do they have, you know, 98 copies of In and Out starring Kevin Kline? You know, I liked that movie. I watched it in theaters and thought it was cute, but... It's suddenly giving me a lot of these paint splotches. Oh, crap. If it's the same stealing song that I'm thinking of, then yes, the melody is actually plagiarized. I can't remember what from, though. I remember the stealing song always started with "Stealing, stealing," which to me always sounded like it was about to go da-da-da-da-da. I don't know if that helps. I think this may be it. That's weird. That's definitely not slowdown. That is some kind of audio bug. Oh, if I just never noticed it before, because I don't usually play Zoop with the sound on. Well, at any rate, I'm starting to get a little tired and sweaty, and I'm gonna call it here for tonight. There we go. So, just want to thank you guys for coming by here. This is kind of a satisfying week in the sense we got a Phantasy Star Zero kill screen, and I mean, I know it's corny and all that, but I mean, I've been watching Let's Plays since, not since they were new necessarily, but I mean, since they were the big thing on YouTube, I'd been watching them, and I always said to myself, one of these days, I'm gonna do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. What they do, I can do that too. And so, there it is. And even as far back then, I said to myself, you know, if I ever manage to do a Let's Play, I'm going to start with Phantasy Star Zero. And so, yeah. No. Yeah, there will be VODs. I will set up a playlist for it, and I'll link the playlist down there when everything's ready to go, and yeah, decide what I'm going to start playing next week. And I don't know, maybe, well, I don't like talking plans, because if I do that, then I feel like I have to commit to them. But yeah, just still working on a bunch of stuff. So thank you for hanging out with me. It means a lot. And I'll be back on Thursday with another Let's Jam. We'll play some music. I'll be back on Saturday to make some more music production. And so I'll see you all around.